Good evening and welcome. You're watching the NewsTrack. I'm Rahul Kanwal. Who's to blame for Parliament not being able to function? Is the government being obdurate by not allowing a discussion on the Adani affair? Or is the opposition missing a trick by insisting that there'll only first be a discussion on the Adani issue and then anything else? Some headway seem to have been made today after a week-long washout. But will finally Parliament resume and do the job our lawmakers are supposed to? Or will we see more gridlock and deadlock for the remaining days of this week as well? That's my top focus on the news.
सदन की कार्रवाई आज 12 बजे तक के लिए स्थगित की जाती है.
5 days, 5 adjournments. Ruckus stalls Parliament again. Winter washout looms.
I appeal to you in the name of framers of the Constitution, people of this country, allow the Parliament to function.
Opposition corners government, but struggles to find common ground. Parliament storm, the big focus on NewsTrack.
For the fifth straight day, both houses of Parliament were adjourned. The Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha have conducted business for just about an hour each day, incurring a loss of over 34 crore rupees. The opposition claims that the House is adjourned even before they get a chance to make a ruckus. The centre says it is ready to debate on all issues. Will the Parliament get back to serious business tomorrow, or are we staring at a winter washout?
Allow the Parliament to function. Don't make it dysfunctional.
Ruckus and sloganeering continues on day 5 of winter session of Parliament. After a washout in the first week, Parliament resumed proceedings on Monday morning. Both houses saw similar scenes of disruption. First, the Rajya Sabha was adjourned for the day. The Lok Sabha followed soon.
आज 12 बजे तक के लिए स्थगित की जाती है.
The opposition is insisting on discussion on issues like Gautam Adani's indictment in the US, violence in Sambhal, ethnic clashes in Manipur. Congress leader Jairam Ramesh accused the ruling BJP of running away from debate.
पहले 1 घंटे 2 घंटे नारेबाजी हुआ करती थी, हम मुद्दे उठाते थे, हम वेल में जाते. हम देख रहे हैं इस सत्र में, क्योंकि अडानी के मुद्दे पर चर्चा नहीं चाहती, मणिपुर के मुद्दे पर चर्चा नहीं चाहती, अजमेर और संभल के मुद्दे पर चर्चा नहीं चाहती, इसीलिए पूरे तरीके से कोशिश की जा रही है कि सदन न चले.
The divide in the opposition ranks was evident, with the Trinamool Congress skipping the meet chaired by Mallikarjun Kharge. While the Congress is primarily on Adani, the TMC wants discussion on Bangladesh and Manipur crisis.
House chalna chahiye. TMC has many burning issues, including their state, and it is the responsibility of the major ruling party to see that the House runs. They are showing their not interest that the House runs. And the House belongs to the opposition, but this BJP government is not in a mood also to run the House.
Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla convened an all-party meet in an attempt to break the deadlock. The government has agreed to a discussion to mark 75 years of the Constitution. Sources say TMC is likely to speak on the Bangladesh crisis. The Samajwadi Party will address Sambhal clashes during the debate.
जितना भी अपोजिशन पार्टी के लीडर्स है, सबसे अनुरोध है कि जो आज एग्रीमेंट हुए हैं और पार्लियामेंट चलने के लिए तैयार हुए हैं, हम सब मिलकर के पार्लियामेंट को अच्छा से चलाएं. देश सुनना चाहता है, देखना चाहता है कि हमारा सांसद कैसे काम करते हैं. इसलिए कल से सुचारू रूप से पार्लियामेंट चलेगा, ऐसा एग्री हुआ है.
The washout is costing the taxpayer heavily. Each minute of running Parliament cost the exchequer 2.5 lakh rupees. If we assume that Parliament functions for 6 hours daily, then the total cost of running Parliament per day is around 9 crore rupees. Going by these numbers, around 45 crore rupees taxpayers' money has been lost already. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar was expected to brief the House of India's relation with China in the light of the recent agreement on the line of actual control, but that is now likely to happen on Tuesday.
Floor leaders of different parties had a very long conversation with Om Birla, and Om Birla said there's a certain procedure that you need to follow. All the discussions will happen, and the very crucial discussion on constitution will now take place on the 13th and on the 14th of December in Lok Sabha, and the 16th and the 17th of December in the Rajya Sabha. This is Aishwarya Paliwal reporting for India Today.
So has there actually been a resolution? Will Parliament function starting tomorrow? Will there be more gridlock, more deadlock? Joining us on this broadcast, representing the ruling BJP, Tuhin Sinha. I have Shama Mohammed from the Congress Party, Ghanshyam Tiwari from the Samajwadi Party, and Jagdeep Chokhar, founder and trustee of ADR. I want to go across first to Shama Mohammed. Is there actually an agreement, like we saw from Kiran Rijiju in that report that I just played out, that Parliament will be allowed to function? Because we're hearing different things from the likes of Jairam Ramesh and others in the Congress. It seems as if in the same meeting, both sides came out with different interpretations of what was discussed and agreed upon.
Rahul, we would love the Parliament to function, honestly speaking. You have been a journalist for a very long time. You've seen how UPA functions. Now, if the ruling party or the ruling government does not want to do it, we can't do anything. One of the most important ingredients of democracy is accountability. From 2014 onwards, there is no accountability. Any case, take it Adani, take Manipur, take anything over here, take electoral bonds. There is no investigation. We are asking for a JPC in Adani. We said we would like to discuss it because it has come.
The government says it's prepared for a discussion. The Speaker said it. The Parliamentary Affairs Minister has said it. He says we are open for a discussion on all issues, including the Adani matter.
So that's what. So the last 5 days, why is it being disrupted? Is that they didn't want a discussion. Now maybe they've agreed. I do not know. But as of what I know from my party is no agreement has come to place. And very important, Manipur. Manipur, there is crisis there. There is huge, it's kind of a civil war there. The NPP, the alliance partner, does not want Mr. Biren Singh. Mr. Biren Singh is hanging in there 1.5 years after the Manipur violence. Everybody, including his MLAs, wants him to go. But the present dispensation does not want him to go. I mean, let me tell you, a week back, a 3-year-old child was shot in the head. Shot in the head, what we are seeing in Gaza, we are seeing over here. I mean, what is happening? Cookies and metis are
have this conversation in Parliament. That's the point I'm making. It's great that this debate is happening on TV.
Why is the government not agreeing? Let me tell you one more thing.
No, because the moment Parliament starts, you guys start making a ruckus. Instead of allowing for a discussion as per a particular rule of parliamentary proceeding, you are not allowing the Speaker and the Vice President in the Rajya Sabha to do their job properly.
Why should we not allow, Rahul? In 2010, when they came for a JPC in 2G in December, I still remember a session which was washed out. 2011 February, we allowed for a JPC.
Tuhin Sinha, here's the argument. The opposition says that there is no clarity, there is no agreement. We don't know when this discussion on Adani will happen, when the discussion on Manipur will happen. It's the government's job to keep Parliament functioning. You know, the moment there is the slightest ruckus, whoever's the chair of the House adjourns the House. It's almost as if the government doesn't really want this House to happen. Usually they're repeated adjournment 3, 4, 5, 6 times in the day. Here, after the first adjournment, the second adjournment, and the Parliament gets adjourned for the whole day.
Well, good evening, Rahul. Good evening, everybody. We have seen in the last few years that this opposition has a compulsively obstructionist attitude. It's for them, it's my way or the highway. We saw it through the Pegasus crisis. We saw it during the Manipur discussion in last year, when they insisted on having the discussion under a certain clause wherein we would not have exceeded 4 hours of discussion. We wanted to discuss it the whole day. Then they insisted on a no confidence motion. There again, the Home Minister spoke for a good 2 hours on the Manipur situation. In this present session of Parliament, they have successfully circumvented the presentation of the JPC report, which was due last Friday on the Wakh issue. Their members of the JPC break glasses during meetings. So we have seen a compulsively obstructionist attitude. There are 16 bills listed to be passed during this parliament session. Therefore, the government wants to approach them with a certain sense of urgency. But as the government has always mentioned, we are open to every possible issue being discussed in parliament, and we stand by that. Today, some important decisions have been taken in the meeting between the opposition and the ruling party. And I hope from tomorrow, the opposition will adhere to that and ensure that there is 100% productivity in the remainder of the session.
No, because you're saying there's an agreement. The Congress says there's no agreement. Ghanshyam Tiwari, from the perspective of the Samajwadi Party and other members of the India bloc, has there actually been an agreement? Will Parliament function? It almost seems as if they were both, and we can see those images on our screen right now, both sides were in the same meeting. Both sides come out and tell us different things.
Good evening, Rahul. To you, my fellow co-panelists and the viewers, there are 3 quick points. One, the track record of Prime Minister Modi. In last 10 years, there were more Sundays than sitting of the parliament. The government proved that it could run the country without the discussions in parliament. It threw out members of parliament for petty matters inexplicable. They ran their bulldozer on democracy and democratic intent of parliament. This is who they are. Now, point number 2, that a man who is close to the prime minister has been accused by the largest democracy in the world, in the most powerful country in the world, by their justice system. The departments that are associated, SECI, has any minister or former minister or ministers for renewable energy, Piyush Goyal, R.K. Singh or Prahlad Joshi, have they made a single statement? I'm absolutely surprised. The obsession with BJP MPs, ministers, spokespersons are defending Adani day in, day out. They don't even defend the prime minister to that level. The point number 3, this is a batenge katenge party, right from the prime minister to the UP chief minister. The entire UP government stands accused. The chief minister should resign. But when you look at India Today cover story on N. Biren Singh, who has been quoted in that cover story of saying "Bam chalayenge," that is his quote as per the recording, and the India Today story incriminates him. Yet the man is still the chief minister of a burning Manipur.
No, but have this conversation in parliament. Listen, what I'm trying to understand is, why can't this conversation, this debate happen in parliament? Let parliament function. In the opportunity your speakers get, let your MPs raise these issues. Do it on the floor of the House.
Because the Prime Minister doesn't want to address these issues.
No, but they've said they're open for a discussion on all issues, including Sambal, including Manipur, including Adani.
Quick response. This is a government that postponed Parliament for Gujarat election once, allowed its undeclared allies such as AIDMK and YSRCP to disrupt Parliament when they were in full majority. The Prime Minister is shy of Parliament. He does not want to face the members of Parliament who are the voice of
people. No, but how are you saying this? If you don't allow for Parliament to function, and if for a few days Parliament functions and there's no debate on Manipur, on Sambal, on Adani, then you can say what we're saying is correct. Right now, the moment the proceedings start, the opposition MPs jump into the well of the House and there's no debate.
Rahul, if I start disrupting this debate, you will switch off my mic or you will turn me out. This government, and you are responsible for running this debate. This government is responsible for running the parliament. They are not in the House because they are shying away. How long does it take for anybody? What is the Adani matter? The people of India are paying for a corrupt deal on which the investors of US have put their money on, accused by the justice system, when Mr. Gautam Adani and Sagar Adani are personally incriminated, and multiple state officials have been bribed under a department that is under the cabinet minister and PMO. How many people are incriminated in this? And has anybody of responsible, show the quote to your viewers, one single responsible voice from the cabinet to the secretary?
No, but if the debate happens in parliament, then you can press the government for answers. You're not letting parliament function.
Just like I can't stop your debate from happening, the opposition, if the government is really intentful of parliament, this is the government that threw out 145 members of parliament. 145. If the prime minister was courageous, the parliament would have functioned.
Jagdeep Chokhar, you have a more dispassionate, non-partisan point of view on this. As founder trustee ADR, you look very carefully at parliamentary proceeding, costs incurred, loss to the nation. Is any one side more to blame? Is the government running away from a debate, or is the opposition to blame for not allowing the debate to happen?
I believe it is all political parties who are behaving very, very irresponsibly. And let me add, this is not a new phenomenon. I wrote an article in the Tribune newspaper in February of 2012, which was titled Denigration of Parliament. And in 2012, the Parliament was being disrupted repeatedly, and the leaders of the opposition in the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha both were on record saying disrupting Parliament is a genuinely democratic, acceptable practice. I, in that article, had said that political parties are irresponsible, which is very, very unfortunate. But the Speaker and the Chairman of the Rajya Sabha should feel responsibility of running these two houses.
No, what's your solution? Given the current state of impasse, what's your solution?
My solution is the chairpersons of the two houses should have the courage to expel whoever people are not allowing the parliament to run, but nobody in the parliament, including the presiding officers, feel responsible to the nation. The parliament is the property of the people of this country, and everybody sitting in parliament, including all members of parliament and the speaker and the chairman of the Rajya Sabha, do not feel they are responsible to the people.
Tohin Sinha, respond to what Jagdeep Chokar is saying.
Just a minute.
Yes.
I have the greatest respect for the institution of parliament, but I am sorry to say I do not respect the current lot of parliamentarians. The institution of parliament has been rendered irrelevant by all political parties put together.
Tohin Sinha, no, here's the point. Yeah. You've shown this in the past. When you were determined, you said, okay, we will proceed with parliamentary proceedings. If you keep protesting, we'll throw you out. The SP is saying it, the Congress is saying it. Ab karke to dekho, it's almost as if the government at this moment also is looking for a pretext to want to adjourn parliament.
That's not true, Rahul. In the last parliament tenure, which was between 2019 to 2024, there were umpteen occasions where the parliament has operated well past midnight to pass important bills, including, when Article 370 was abrogated. There have been occasions where the parliament session per se has operated at 100% plus efficiency and passed very important bills. But over here, what I have witnessed, or what we witnessed, is that in the last 2 or 3 years, the opposition has got into this obsession of disrupting parliament from day one on some pretext or the other. And this is something which we don't want to play ball to. This is something we want to combat aggressively right now.
No, but how are you combating this aggressively, Tohin Sinha? If you keep adjourning parliament, usually parliament meets, there's a ruckus and adjourns several times in the day. It's almost as if you also want काम खत्म करो एक बार हो दूसरी बार हो फिर बोलो कि okay, we'll see you next day.
The whole idea of today's meeting between the opposition MPs and the ruling party MPs was to at least evolve a consensus for the remainder of the parliament. Even now, the opposition MPs seem to be denying what was discussed in the meeting. So intellectual dishonesty has become a hallmark of this opposition. And I think, if they don't take these meetings seriously, obviously this meeting was not to, have tea and biscuits. It was to discuss important things like the way the parliament would function for the remainder of the session. So when you have a solution being discussed and they deny it, obviously there is some amount of intellectual dishonesty which renders our efforts helpless.
Now, Shama Mohammed, the fact is that there is a deep division within the Congress as well. There are several largely Lok Sabha MPs whose point of view is very different from your Rajya Sabha leadership. They want parliament to function and they want that a debate happen. They're not happy with this constant adjournment business.
I did not hear about this afwah rumor. I know the Congress party works as one. Now, very important point here. I certainly believe the present government does not believe in democracy. If they did believe, they would let the parliament function. It is the floor leaders, it is the treasury bench, it is the government who should let the parliament function. And it is not the opposition. Now, let me give you an example. 142 members of parliament suspended in one session. If there is a ruckus, they're suspended. I've never heard of this. When we were in power, when they asked for a JPC, Augusta Westland, we were ready. JPC in Coles Camp, we were ready. JPC in 2G, we were ready. There is accountability.
Okay, Tohin Sinha, respond to this
when we asked
demand for a
JPC,
joint parliamentary committee.
They're
saying we agreed to a JPC on 2G. Why can't you agree to a JPC on Adani?
No, there's no accountability.
Because first of all, if you're referring to the recent US court judgment, the US court judgment essentially pertains to 4 state governments, and they need to respond first.
Can I speak on this?
Even then, we are saying we are not close to discussing the issue, but JPC should not be, an ego issue which this opposition has confined it to.
When have you allowed the JPC?
On the previous occasion, when they were demanding JPC, that was on the Rafale deal. The Rafale deal was perhaps the most transparent government-to-government deal, yet they kept insisting on the JPC only, because they had made it an ego issue. We are not close to a JPC, but the issue has to merit that. The issue has to merit that. It should not be on an ego issue just because, they hate Adani or they don't like the perceived proximity of the Prime Minister to Adani.
So can I come in on this? What did the Supreme Court say on 2G? There is no scam. And you just now said there should be a JPC when there should be a JPC. The Supreme Court said there is no scam in 2G. What were these allegations? The coal scam. We were not involved. One last point, Rahul. One last point. I'll tell you why they do not believe in democracy. They believe in the politics of bulldozers. They want to violate the Places of Worship Act 1991. They brought in a bill last year to appoint the Election Commission by removing the Chief Justice and putting a cabinet minister. So where is democracy?
Rahul, let me give you an example over here.
Jagdeep Chokar, in your understanding, is the demand for a JPC on the Adani issue justified or not?
Look, I just wanted to point out that what we have just seen in the last 30 minutes or so is exactly what happens in Parliament. Every political party is out to score brownie points. Not one political party is interested in the nation. Has in this discussion, other than criticizing all other political parties, has any of the panelists to whom I have great respect for, what have they done in the last 30 minutes? And Rahul, all such programs, I have sat in on many of them, end up with nothing being achieved. My fellow panelists are also very smart, perhaps smarter than me. They know कि आधे घंटे 45 मिनट में खत्म हो जाएगा, उसके बाद जो होगा देखी जाएगी, चलो टाइम निकालो. Unfortunately, this is the reality as I see it.
When we brought the Waqf Amendment Act in August this year, we had reasonable support to push it through. Yet we adopted an inclusive approach. We sent it to the JPC, and today they don't want the JPC report to come out. This is another classic example of how they circumvent things, of how they procrastinate and how they obstruct things.
No, Shama Mohammed, respond to this. You're asking for a JPC. The JPC will be skewed towards the government in terms of the composition of MPs. Like we've seen with Waqf, you can later turn around and say, oh, now we don't agree with the JPC.
See, why did the Waqf go to a standing committee? Because they didn't have the numbers in the Lok Sabha. Otherwise, there is no standing committee. Did we have any standing committees in the last 5 years or 10 years? Nothing went into standing committee. They would bulldoze a bill through. And in the Rajya Sabha, they had their alliance partners, so there was nothing. Rahul, I am telling of the experience of the UPA. I can tell that the UPA was ready for investigation. We used to ask ministers to resign so that there is an impartial investigation. And that is what the UPA government was about.
Okay,
here,
now Ghanshyam Tiwari.
Investigation. Who is accountable? There is no accountability.
Ghanshyam Tiwari, the opposition also seems divided. It's not as if all Congress MPs or all India bloc members want Parliament to be disrupted on this one single agenda. There is Sambhal, there is Bangladesh, there are other issues that parties want discussions on, and therefore the decision makers in the Congress also now beginning to feel that pushback.
I think it is by now clear, and I respect Jagdeep Chokarji and what he has built in the institution of Indian democracy. I respect him, and one has to measure, I agree with him that one has to measure Parliament from the lens of accountability. How does the lens begin? Prime Minister is the leader of the House. Does the Prime Minister do a press conference? The accusation on Adani is not accusation on Adani. Adani has not taken oath on Constitution. The Prime Minister of India has taken oath on Constitution. So Prime Minister will not do a press conference. His party will not allow Parliament to function on this particular issue. on which supposedly the cabinet minister should have responded by now, but they are keeping quiet, letting BJP spokespersons and MPs and MLAs to be Adani spokespersons. In this scenario, there is no way, with all due respect to Jagdish Chokarji, there is no way this government will allow the Prime Minister to stand the test of accountability on the Adani matter. Similarly, when their philosophy has become batenge katenge, they will not allow the test of parliament on the batenge katenge model, or the Sambhal violence, or Bahraich violence, or Manipur burning. So the only way they can do it is ensure, keep blaming the opposition that you are a divided house, you don't want the parliament to function, but not look at their own track record that they bulldozed through the parliament, did not convene the parliament for enough number of days when they had absolute majority. This is what they did in last 10 years. The track record speaks for themselves. The Prime Minister would have the lowest sitting rate of any Prime Minister in the parliament for those last 10 years. So that is the average. They don't believe in this debate or that can hold the Prime Minister accountable. But make no mistake, Adani matter incriminates.
But the problem, Tohin Sinha, is, it's a bit like Bofors in 1980s. The government was convinced that they were right. They didn't allow for a JPC. And if you speak to people of that time, they tell you that the mistake that Rajiv Gandhi made is that he didn't allow for an investigation. He feels in retrospect that if Gandhi had allowed for an investigation, it wouldn't have blown up. The more the government seeks to distance itself, the more the charge will be leveled that dal mein kuch kala, and the bigger the headache. And could it end up being Bofors once again from your perspective?
There should be no comparison with the Congress era, because Congress governments have been overtly corrupt. The most, in fact, Shama was talking about the UPA government, which was the most corrupt government in the history of India. Point is, today some very important things have been discussed in the meeting, which they seem to be denying. Tomorrow morning, once again, will be a litmus test for this opposition. If they come and behave themselves, if they commit themselves to ensuring that the remainder of the session is not disrupted, you can sense that they are still trying to make amends. But if they don't do that and continue with their obstructionist behavior tomorrow morning, then, it all seems to be pre-planned, it all seems to be preconceived, and they plan out something at home and come only to execute that in the parliament.
Okay, you've heard different points of view. I'm out of time on this debate. We will see what happens in parliament tomorrow. I want to focus now on the latest on the deadlock in Maharashtra. Ajit Pawar is headed to Delhi. Eknath Shinde is in Thane. BJP leader Girish Mahajan has reached Thane to meet Shinde. Shiv Sena says since the election was fought under the leadership of Eknath Shinde, it should be given a respectable place in the state government. 9 days on, Maharashtra's chief minister is yet to be decided, while the BJP has declared that the Mahayuti CM will be sworn in at 5 p.m. on Thursday. A sulking Shinde seems to have dug in his heels. Shinde, who had declared that he won't be an obstacle in choosing the chief minister, is now trying to stall meetings. The discussion on distribution of portfolios is also in limbo. Here's what's happening in Maharashtra.
The stage is set for oath-taking ceremony on December 5. But Mahayuti is yet to announce their chief minister pick. State BJP leaders have been pitching Devendra Fadnavis as the next Maharashtra chief minister. There is a hiccup though. Current chief minister Eknath Shinde seems to be sulking. After returning from his native village, Shinde on Monday cancelled all his meetings, citing ill health. Shinde's party, however, says they will support the BJP's decision.
हमें सीएम के कुर्सी पे कुछ भी इंटरेस्ट नहीं है। जो नेता लोग, महायुति के नेता लोग जो डिसीजन लेंगे, उनके पीछे हम खड़े हैं। इसीलिए वो सवाल ही नहीं आता सीएम पद मांगना और नहीं मांगना।
Portfolio distribution is also proving to be a headache for the Mahayuti. The Shiv Sena is adamant on Deputy Chief Minister's post and Home Ministry. The party wants to retain 9 existing portfolios. Eknath Shinde's son Shrikant Shinde clarified that he won't become the Deputy Chief Minister.
देखिए, शिंदे साहब ने प्रेस लेके सब दुनिया के सामने बता दिया है। जो वरिष्ठ नेता निर्णय लेंगे वो हमें एक्सेप्ट है। हमारी कोई भी डिमांड नहीं है, या तो हम किसी पद के लिए अड़े नहीं हैं। इतनी बात स्पष्ट करने के बावजूद उनके ऊपर आरोप लगाना ठीक नहीं है।
the NCP is rooting for Fadnavis. Top party leaders including Ajit Pawar are in talks with BJP leadership. While the suspense over Chief Minister continues, the BJP has named Nirmala Sitharaman and former Gujarat Chief Minister Vijay Rupani as observers for Maharashtra. Bureau Report, India Today.
I want to go across now to Maharashtra Bureau Chief Sahil Joshi. He joins us now and understands the ins and outs of every development in Maharashtra. Sahil, is this just posturing by Eknath Shinde and trying to squeeze a better deal and to try and push the BJP on the negotiating table? Or is he genuinely in deep sulk and there may be a situation where when Fadnavis is sworn in that Shinde is not there?
Well, in both the cases, Shinde will have to be there when the swearing in will happen because that is what is the deal. They have fought the elections together. Mahayuti and Shinde knows it very well. At this point of time, it is very hard bargaining which is going on between Shinde and the BJP because the moment Shinde has realized that he will not be able to be a chief minister, at least he wants a respectable portfolio to be a deputy chief minister in Devendra Fadnavis's cabinet. And what Shiv Sena has been telling BJP that look what happened in 2022 when Eknath Shinde was made the chief minister. Almost all the important portfolios were given to Devendra Fadnavis, and for almost a year, he was also a finance minister, he was also a home minister, he was also a power minister, he was also a housing minister. So looking at that, at least there has to be something which will be respectable for Eknath Shinde so that he can tell his people that why he has accepted the deputy chief minister's position. So that is what is the hard bargaining which is going on at this point of time. The BJP has also putting up a pressure because Saturday and Sunday, when they were expected to meet in Mumbai, which did not happen. After that, the BJP unilaterally declared the swearing-in ceremony's date, which we had just shown, that 5th of December at 5 o'clock in the evening. They haven't even staked the claim, but before that, they already declared the date. Somewhere, Eknath Shinde and his party felt that it happened without consulting the Shiv Sena. And they just went ahead with the date. So that is where the things are stuck. But what I'm hearing for sure that Eknath Shinde will be part of the government. Almost 10 to 15 ministers will be taking oath on 5th of December. But there will be a bargaining with respect to the portfolio.
No, but home seems to be the thorniest of all portfolios to navigate. Now explain why is Shinde so big on home? Because he was being offered union, urban development, PWD. Those are very meaty portfolios with a lot of financial gravy involved over there. Why is he so big on home and why is the BJP so unwilling to let go of home?
Well, always we have seen in Maharashtra that whoever has the chief minister's position doesn't get the home minister or the finance ministry. In all the coalitions since 1995, this has been the formula, which changed in 2014 when the BJP came to power with more than 100 seats. And they will be repeating that formula again. And that's what it clearly looks like. Look, the BJP doesn't want to have any more complications when the government will be run. And when there is a home minister from a different party, that creates various issues within the government. And that's why they do not want to get away with, give away the home department, the home portfolio. What Shinde is basically claiming that just obey the formula, just think about the formula which has been there ever since the coalition is in place in Maharashtra. What I have heard that he has also suggested some alternate formulas to the BJP High Command, and he's waiting to get a go-ahead or at least a kind of a discussion on the formula to give it a formal look to it. And that's why he's not meeting. This is the first time after coming back to Mumbai, a leader like Girish Mahajan, who is supposed to be close to Devendra Fadnavis, has gone and met Eknath Shinde. Till now, he has no communication with the BJP leadership yet, except in the evening yesterday, he made a call to Devendra Fadnavis and they had some chat. But otherwise, there is no official communication with the BJP till now.
Sahil Joshi, I'll leave it there. I thought it'll be easier to form a government this time round because there's a clear mandate. But in Maharashtra, it seems regardless of whether there's a clean mandate or not, last time it took 35 days. We're already 1 week plus and we don't have clarity on the chief minister. What we do know now though is there a time has been announced that 5 p.m. the 5th, this is when we are doing it, aana aao, nahi aana mat aao. So the BJP also drawing this line. Let's see how this proceeds from here. Our Maharashtra team is on the story and tracking it very closely. Meanwhile, Team Trump 2.0 has got yet another Desi Tadka, with Kash Patel being nominated as the next director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Known for his strong loyalty to Trump, Patel served in key roles during his first term. Patel has been very vocal in his support for the Ram Temple in Ayodhya and his admiration for Prime Minister Modi. Patel's nomination, along with other practicing Hindus, shows the growing influence of India and Indian Americans in the new Trump administration.
Here's another American Desi in Trump 2.0 Sarkar. Donald Trump has nominated his loyalist Kash Patel to be the next director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Kashyap Pramod Vinod Patel, commonly known as Kash, was born in the city of New York, a child of immigrant parents originally from Gujarat. Patel served in key roles during Trump's first term, including overseeing the counterterrorism division of the National Security Council and later serving as Chief of Staff at the Department of Defense. Patel has also been vocal about his backing of the Ram Temple in Ayodhya, arguing that its historical significance is overlooked by Western narratives. In February, he said,
"Whether or not you are Hindu or Muslim, there was a Hindu temple there for one of the quintessential gods in the Hindu pantheon in 1500 that was toppled, and they have been trying to get it back for 500 years. Washington establishments conveniently forgot this part of history."
What the deep state uses the most to cover up their corruption is an illegal application of the classification system. Remember the Lovebirds text from, this is a beauty, the Lovebirds text from FBI, DOJ land, Russiagate, Strzok and Page were texting each other. They were running the Russiagate investigation against Trump. They were the head of the counterintelligence unit at the FBI. Then we finally find those text messages. You know what the FBI and DOJ do for like a year? Redact them. The deep state came full circle and gave these guys a payday for rigging a presidential election and breaking the law.
Patel's nomination was met with mixed response. While Huffington Post wrote, Trump picks nut for FBI, pro-MAGA accounts on X celebrated Kash Patel's nomination by sharing memes of the hit RR with the caption, "Vivek and Kash Patel taking on the deep state." Patel's vocal admiration for Prime Minister Modi and his vision for US-India relations reflect a unique culture cross-pollination. Reports say that when Trump came to India for a mega event in Ahmedabad, it was Kash Patel who peppered his speech with references on Sachin Tendulkar, DDLJ and Swami Vivekananda.
As the great religious teacher Swami Vivekananda once said, "The moment I stand in reference before every human being and see God in him, that moment I am free."
But Kash Patel isn't the only ABCD or American-born confident Desi in Team Trump. Tulsi Gabbard is Trump's Hindu pick for Director of National Intelligence. Although Tulsi Gabbard has no direct ties to India, her deep connection to Hinduism, particularly the teachings of Hare Krishna philosophy, has been a defining part of her identity. She's always been open about her faith, often seen chanting bhajans and prayers.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
She carried a Bhagavad Gita with her during her deployment in Iraq and swore her oath of office in 2016 with a hand on the sacred text. Alongside SpaceX CEO Elon Musk, Trump selected loyalist and former presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy to lead his new Department of Government Efficiency. When asked about his religious beliefs, Ramaswamy proudly declared that he is a Hindu.
Tell my faith, I'm Hindu. I believe there's one true God. I believe God put each of us here for a purpose, that we're God's instruments. He works through us in different ways, but we are still equal because God resides in each of us. That's the core of my faith, that when you get married, you get married before God, and you make an oath to God and you make an oath to your family, that the good things in life involve a sacrifice, that there's more to life than the aimless passage of time. We're here for a purpose, and we pursue that purpose.
In addition to them, Trump has also been nominated Indian origin Dr. Jay Bhattacharya as the director of the National Institutes of Health. While Bhattacharya has ties to Kolkata, he has not made a clear statement about his faith. Trump's White House will also see Usha Chilkuri Vance, an Indian-American Hindu, as a second lady married to the incoming Vice President J.D. Vance. Bureau Report, India Today.
For Donald Trump, it seems loyalty comes first over all else. And he seems to be keeping it all in the family. Charles Kushner, Ivanka Trump's father-in-law, will be ambassador to France, and Massad Boulos, Tiffany Trump's father-in-law, will take on a key role as a Middle East advisor.
Meet Ivanka Trump's father-in-law, Charles Kushner. And now meet Tiffany Trump's father-in-law, Massad Boulos. Say hello to President-elect Donald Trump's two newest appointees, two men whose sons are married to Trump's daughter, family connections, who will soon officially be part of Team Trump. What's clear here is a pattern of loyalty over expertise. Donald Trump's tendency to prioritize personal loyalty and familial connections in political appointments, a hallmark of his leadership style. Appointment Ivanka Trump's father-in-law as ambassador to France and Tiffany Trump's father-in-law as a Middle East advisor is in line with Trump's broader strategy in consolidating influence within a trusted inner circle. Boulos, a Lebanese-American billionaire, played a key role in the Trump's campaign outreach to Arab-American and Muslim-American communities, personally representing Trump in meetings and rallies in key states. Trump's appointment of his eldest daughter Ivanka's father-in-law is a little more contentious. Kushner, a wealthy real estate developer and philanthropist, is best known for his business acumen and a high-profile legal scandal that resulted in his conviction and imprisonment for tax evasion, witness tampering and illegal campaign contributions, a conviction for which Trump granted him a pardon in 2020. Nepotism aside, there is no doubt these controversial appointments will likely energize Trump's base, which admires his outsider approach and disdain for bureaucratic norms. It could raise questions about their impact on U.S. diplomacy, governance, and public trust in institutions. Bureau Report, India Today.
We've got visuals of the Prime Minister watching the film Sabarmati Report. Sources say the Prime Minister got quite emotional while watching this film. This was screened inside the Parliament auditorium. The PM, lots of union mantris, MPs watched the Sabarmati Report. Piyush Mishra was there. He tracks the BJP for us. Piyush, describe the scenes at this screening. The Prime Minister, I'm told, quite emotional because he lived through this. For him, it's lived reality which he's seeing.
Well, certainly, Rahul, that's what we are hearing from our sources, is that the Prime Minister got emotional while watching the movie there at Bal Yogi Auditorium in Parliament. Remember that all ND MPs were also present during this screening of movie, which went on for at least 2 hours. After PM watched the movie, he also held one-to-one interaction with the makers of this movie. Remember that he has also put out a post on social media platform X, where he has applauded the efforts those have been put in by the makers of this film. After the PM left, after watching the movie, Vikrant Massey and other actors of this movie spoke to us, where they said that they also got emotional while watching the movie. And Vikrant Massey also mentioned about the fact that it was the epitome of his career that he shared space with PM Narendra Modi while watching this movie. He also spoke to veteran actor and father of maker of this film, Ekta Kapoor, Mr. Jitendra. Jitendra also told us that Prime Minister told him that after assuming charge as the Prime Minister of India, that was the first movie which Prime Minister has watched. So it was emotional scenes were also there in auditorium, where all ND MPs were present. Prime Minister along with various union ministers were present.
Okay, in fact, let me play out that comment by the actor Vikrant Massey after watching the film alongside the Prime Minister and many ministers from the union cabinet.
एक अलग ही नर्वसनेस है, खुशी है एक्चुअली
कि इन सब के साथ बैठ के फिल्म देखने का मौका मिला। जैसे मैं पहले से कह रहा हूं, आज भी दोबारा कहना चाहूंगा देश की जनता से आपके माध्यम से कि प्लीज जाएं अपने सिनेमाघरों में, द साबरमती रिपोर्ट को देखें, अपना प्यार दें। और ये मेरे ख्याल से पर्सनली अगर आप मुझसे पूछें तो मेरी लाइफ का सबसे हाईएस्ट पॉइंट है मेरे करियर में, माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के साथ बैठ के फिल्म देखना।
That was Sabarmati Report lead actor Vikrant Massey saying that watching the film with the Prime Minister being part of Sabarmati Report was the high point of his career. Earlier today, he sent social media into a tizzy after announcing that he was taking a break from films. Though his post said he would be away from cinema till he deems fit, social media was quick to call this an early retirement. The question though is, why is he going and where?
Fresh off the success of the Sabarmati Report that has earned over 28 crore rupees at the domestic box office and has turned out to be the biggest opening of Vikrant Massey's solo lead career, the actor has announced that he is taking a break from films. Vikrant took to his Instagram and shared a note that stated, "The last few years and beyond have been phenomenal. I thank each and every one of you for your indelible support. But as I move forward, I realize it's time to recalibrate and go back home. As a husband, father and a son, and also as an actor. So coming 2025, we would meet each other for one last time, until time deems right." His post, hinting at a retirement from films, left the industry and fans in shock. Film director Sanjay Gupta reacted to Vikrant's post and shared his sentiments on X. He said, "It takes guts, resilience and an insane amount of belief in yourself to do it." His Sabarmati Report co-star Rashi Khanna expressed shock and wrote, "What? No." Filmmaker Apurva Srani added another perspective, claiming that the actor's right turn could be behind the move, alleging that the biggest platforms, the dynasties of producers, the media and the awards are left liberals, will never now give his talent its due. Vikrant's journey has always been a testament to grit, versatility and undeniable talent. He stepped into the world of television with Dhoom Machao Dhoom in 2007, the musical sitcom which marked the beginning of his career. However, it was impactful performances in TV shows like Balika Vadhu, where he played the loving yet complex Sham, Dharamveer, Kabul Hai, among others, that solidified his status as a TV heartthrob. But Vikrant always had his eyes set on a bigger canvas, Bollywood. The turning point came in 2013 when Vikrant made his big screen debut with Lutera, starring alongside Ranveer Singh and Sonakshi Sinha. This Vikramaditya Motwane's underrated gem set a green field for Vikrant. Over the years, he gained fame for his performances like Dil Dhadakne Do, Chapak, Ginni Weds Sunny, A Death in the Ganj, among others. More recently, Vikrant impressed with 12th Fail and Sector 36, which performed spectacularly.
अरे मैं दूंगा ना आपको जवाब, आप पूछो तो सही.
Sources say that his break might have something to do with his big-ticket project Dawn 3, where he is playing the negative lead opposite Ranveer Singh. Other theories doing the rounds are that he is taking a break to promote Vidhu Vinod Chopra's follow-up to 12th Fail, Zero Se Restart. Entertainment Bureau, India Today.
Well, let's see what Vikram Massey does next. He's a fabulously talented actor. It'll be a shame if he actually decides not to come back. If it's just a break, it's always good to get recharged. This is where I wrap up the NewsTrack tonight. I look forward to seeing you at 8 p.m. tomorrow evening. Till then, from all of us here, bye.